A lot of people are saying this movie, this film that you can watch right now, all 9 episodes are out now. And it's worth the peruse, okay? And there's some good and bad here. The sound is great. That is the best thing about this film. The sound is much better than it's ever been. And Peter Jackson has done a great job at really punching these songs up, punching these recordings up and everything else. They've used the new technology to bring the screaming down. Now, my problem with that is it makes it for a much more listenable song, because some of those original, just go back. I've got my copy right here, folks. Here's my copy. I bought this back in the day. I paid $128 for this at my local record store, all right? And it's a treasure. And when I listen to this, you listen, you hear those screaming girls, right? And it does get in the way of the sound. But as I was watching this movie, I'm trying to get into the feel. And part of the extra screaming and having to identify the song through the screaming was half the fun of the original series. But all those people are saying they're trimming it down. They're trimming it down because they don't want to bore new Beatle fans. Have you looked at the length of this sucker? It still wound up nine hours. Don't you think that people who would be willing to watch this shit for 9 hours would be willing to watch the extras that you, or the certain scenes that you've taken out? If you were gonna do it for newer fans, this would be about 3 hours long. They would have chopped it up that much. You don't take an hour out and then say that that's aimed at newer fans to make it more palatable. And then they add new things and new special effects, pictures of rooms that people never saw and everything else like that to kind of give it an updated version, to give it its Disney brand. We're supposed to be happy with that. What's been taken out? I saw a report that it was mainly Neil Aspinall's, he's still in it, by the way. I saw plenty of him. Maybe everybody thought he had too much, but I'd have to compare the two. Then they evidently have taken out the scenes talking about the condom incident. And so Paul, and they're bored out of their gourd, and I think it was Pete and Paul filled it with lighter fluid, am I right, Vinny? Then nailed it to or thumbtacked it or tied it to the wall, just some nail hanging out of it, and set it on fire. Fire department had to be called. There was a police report. They started investigating. Oops, gee whiz. George is only 17. You needed to be 18 to have a work permit. He not only didn't have a work permit, but he wasn't a citizen. And so he got sent home. And it was a big deal. That's a big deal kind of story. As they get further and further from them being the actual Beatles in real time, and it becomes more and more of a franchise, I think a stricter guardianship should be imposed. So let's take a look at all 3 of these. We have gotten a film by them that's missing material. Sounds better, but some of the 4K transfers are wanting. In other words, we've gotten a film that has its bugaboos from Disney and Peter Jackson, who made us believe that Elijah Wood was only 3.5 foot tall. Then we've got a book, a stuffing stalker, put out with hardly a word, new cover slapped on it, not in hardbound. Not aimed at somebody who's wanting that to put it in their library, keep it in great shape or anything. No, it's ready to be dog-eared. It's presented to us to be dog-eared. Hell, my original copy is dog-eared, okay? But if this had been the paperback version, it wouldn't be looking this good, okay? So that's what we got there. The film is wanting, the book is wanting, and Anthology 4 was wanting. It is a C sampler from different albums, And the core thing that it had to offer, all three of these things have something to offer, even the book. Because the book was out of print and newer Beatle fans can have that. The film can be watched and newer Beatle fans can have that. And this gives us even more stuff, and newer Beatle fans will be glad to get in on the ground floor of this release. See, I wasn't there 30 years ago, but I was there this time, and then when they're 45, 50 years old, they can look back on this fondly. But what do we see happening here? We have the album taking away the glory and the genius of the album that should have been given to us, Rubber Soul. All right, I've already made that clear. Watch my past videos. We've been covering that a whole lot, so I can back that up, that there is no freaking reason why Anthology had to come out this year. This was Rubber Soul's year. So we've got an album offering that takes away the gaze of brand new Beatle fans away from one of their freaking masterpieces. One of the best albums in rock and roll. A book that doesn't instill a long-term relationship with this band, and a film, although worth watching, needs to be replaced as soon as possible with the first film.